Coming to get you, Barbara.
Here's Johnny.
Like scary.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scared Speechless, the podcast where two guys who are feeling a little woozy over here try and find the words to describe our favorite and least favorite horror films. I am your host, Jake, along with my co-host, Aaron. Aaron, how you doing?
I didn't know that was going to come out like that.
I was so confused at what you were doing. I saw you leaning back.
I'm good, Mom. Oh, shit.
That caught me off guard. This is our best
I really
intro
hope we can
yet.
cut that out. Anyways,
No, we're keeping that
no,
in.
I'm just excited for this movie
we're
that
keeping-
was titled what I just said.
Did you say it or did you?
Well,
Because you can't say a scream, right? What would be the proper way to say that?
did you? Oh, you spoiled it.
Oh shit. We're talking about Scream, guys.
We're talking about Scream.
The original.
Yes, this movie. I watched it for the first time for this episode, and dude, this movie's so good.
I'm so glad to hear you say that because I believe
I really love it.
in our previous episode, Cloverfield, when I recommended it, I said that Scream is in fact my favorite horror franchise, and I went as far as to say that Scream, the original from 1996. I keep saying that because they named the fifth Scream movie also just Scream instead of Scream 5. So I feel like I have to always preface by saying Scream 1996.
Scream 1990.
I went as far as to say Scream, the original, is
Isn't it
my...
Isn't it
what?
like Scream V or something? Or did
No.
they put it in the...
Yeah, they put the V and the for 5 in Roman numerals like in the poster, but
like for the poster, but
if
not
you
for the...
if you just Google Scream,
Oh.
I guarantee you, if you Google
That's
Scream, the fifth one will come up.
Yeah.
Let's see this fucking shit. Scream. I just typed in Scream
try
on
it.
Google. Oh, I guess the franchise comes up, not the movie.
Aha.
Okay, all right, fine. Scream the franchise. We're getting off track already.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
so
I went as
Scream,
I went as
1996.
I was just saying I went as far as to say in the last episode when I recommended that we do this franchise that Scream is also my second favorite horror film behind the original Halloween. So I'm needless to say very excited to
And
talk
your
about
first
this.
favorite franchise now.
Yes, my favorite franchise
so
in
dope.
horror. As much as I love Halloween, and I enjoy Halloween 2 and 3 a lot, which are coincidentally the only ones we've covered on this podcast. A lot of the Scream sequel, or I'm sorry, a lot of the Halloween sequels very much suck and I hate. And if you are interested, I have a 2-part video breakdown series on my channel, little self-plug, at Former Film Student on YouTube. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But yes, Aaron would love to give you guys the backdrop to Scream so we can start discussing this movie.
Yes, this is Scream from 1996. It is rated R. It is an hour and 51 minutes long. It has an IMDb rating of 7.4 out of 10. It
Too
is
low.
directed by... Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah,
I'd definitely say so.
damn right.
Anyways, directed by Wes Craven, written by Kevin Williamson. It stars Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette.
Yeah.
And also Drew Barrymore.
Andrew Barrymore.
And
And
Matthew Lillard. How could I forget? Because that's like,
Henry
That's the-
Winkler.
oh my God, yeah, you're
the,
right.
the Fonz. Hey, dude, if he would have done that, imagine right before.
Dude.
All right, spoiler alert, guys, for this entire movie. I guess we could try to talk about it a little bit chronologically, but
Sure.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, Henry Winkler dies in the movie. What if?
Yeah, man.
What if before he died, he goes, "Hey,"
Oh,
he just gets
God.
stabbed?
I thought it would be pretty good.
That would be fun.
Dude, when I saw him on screen, I was just like, is that Henry Winkler? Why is he in Scream?
He just like shows up for like
Yeah.
three scenes. He's only in like 3 scenes, which is awesome. And apparently Henry Winkler didn't want to be used in any of the advertisements or whatever because he didn't want to take away any attention from the young up and coming stars.
Alright.
But yes, Scream is was that all the backdrop or anything else in terms of that or I
And
was
the
gonna
stars,
say,
did you want me to go over the
you know what's
the
crazy?
synopsis?
Yeah, get to the synopsis in a second. Matthew Lillard is probably not listed as one of the main stars, right? He's also not on the poster of the movie.
No. Matthew Lillard is like at the bottom.
And he's not. And you know what's crazy is he's not on the poster and he's on the bottom of the list. He's the fucking best part of the movie.
He is. Oh my god, he is so great. It's so great because
Yeah.
nobody else has his energy the entire time. Not
Nobody.
a single person, not an extra or any. Like he just brings so much charisma and
He almost feels like he's from a different
weirdness.
movie.
Yeah,
But in a good way.
He sticks out like a sore thumb in the best way. Because he's just like yelling, goofing off, like spitting. He's got so much movement, like like Jim Carrey, and it's just like it was so much fun to watch him.
Very Jim Carrey-esque. That's a good comparison.
I think we should say, because we are bringing him up, and he's like the best part of the movie. The killers that were revealed at the end. Yes, I did know who they were before I watched this movie. I think it's just a really popular twist ending.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid
which is a great twist ending. The thing is that I wonder how my first watch would have been if I didn't know that, because seeing their behavior in this movie is so bizarre. Yeah. Like Skeet Ulrich.
I think it's Ulrich.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Sorry.
He's a daddy in Riverdale.
Oh yeah,
he's Cole Sprouse's daddy.
That's why you look familiar. Damn.
He's also got the Leo DiCaprio thing going on, where I'm pretty sure he's in his 50s and his girlfriend is like 24.
Oh damn. Oh, not great.
Oh no.
Well, anyway, okay. So Skeet Ulrich's character Billy plays like the most like heartless person on the planet. Like he like smiled once, and that was like at the end when everything was revealed, and he was like like that. Yeah. That was the only time he ever smiled. Apart from that, he was literally just like gaslighting freaking Sydney, and
he is the king of gaslighting.
Oh my god, he's so
good at it. Like, his manipulation level 10 right there.
Is level frat bro, man. Like it is bad stuff. I was like, oh man, because that conversation he had was so thing. But basically, it's Billy, and I'm talking about the one
at the water
hallway.
At the hallway. Okay, with Sydney.
Yeah, with Sydney
where he's like, he's like, why won't you have sex with me? Get over your dead mom.
Yeah, like that's what he's so like concerned about. He literally just went to jail the night before, and she was like, oh yeah, like I'm sorry, but he's like, whatever, have sex with me or something like that, or like the killer. They like completely, he like doesn't care about the killer that like is still free because supposedly it's not him. He does not give a shit.
He compares his parents getting divorced to her mom being raped and killed.
Dude, it was
That's insane.
Oh my god.
I don't know if Aaron said it, but so Billy and Stu are revealed to be the killers.
Stewart is Matthew Lillard's character.
Yeah, Matt plays Stu, and Skeet Ulrich plays Billy Loomis. But like we were talking about, it is psychotic, like how obvious they are in this movie. And you spoke about their behavior, and one of the scenes that I love, just like upon rewatch, and even I guess because you'd said going in that you knew who the killers were, which really sucks. I know that for the rest of the Scream franchise, you don't know the killers.
Still great.
So I'm excited to talk about the killer reveals in those a little bit more.
Sure.
But even
we'll talk about that.
because you knew going in that Billy and Stu were the eventual killers. It makes the first time that you see all of the main characters together. It's outside the school. They're sitting near like a water fountain or some shit, and they're so obvious. Okay. So, there's been videos that like break down and try to guess which of Billy and Stu are the killers in each given kill in the movie. And I think for the most part, the people who make those videos, sometimes they're a little wonky, but the first Scream movie, because I think the first Scream film had the most effort and precision put into its filmmaking and script, I think has probably the most accurate. And I do think it's very, we didn't mention it, but we talked about Drew Barrymore starring in this movie. She is the opening kill in quite possibly the greatest opening scene in any horror film. Sorry, Black Christmas.
So good.
Sorry, Halloween. Love ya. But, dude, the opening scene in this is just so fucking iconic to have such a huge star like that get killed in your opening scene.
It was super good. I really liked watching it. I think what like made me think about it so highly was I was not expecting the brutality towards the end of that like whole thing. I was like, because I've seen like, and I'm gonna have like some comparisons, but like I've seen like Scary Movie and like, you know, like the scene where they they like recreate that scene with like who, like Pamela Anderson or somebody? I forget.
I think is it Carmen Electra?
Oh yeah,
I think it's Carmen Electra.
That's what it was. Yeah. And just like it just like was like it looked like it was just gonna be like a stabbing thing. So like that was kind of like, it was funny how I was comparing that movie when I was watching this movie and like seeing those similarities and where they differed and stuff like that. So I thought they were just going to stab Drew Barrymore and that was going to be enough and she was going to end up dead and whatever. But she is gutted and hanging from a tree and left for her parents to find.
Oh yeah.
The fuck? They did that to like America's Starlet.
Yeah, they did that to the little girl from fucking
like, that was
E.T.
crazy. Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. Cause that was the thing, was that Drew Barrymore was in like the advertising for this movie and
heavily
like on the poster,
and
right. And then they ended up killing her like right away. So great. Like as like, even though I already knew that they did that, I still think it's like one of the coolest things to have done. Like it's such a risk, I feel like, to do that, but it's one that I feel like paid off very well.
Oh, the payoff is you're right. It is such a risky decision to like do that, but you know what it is like, well, first off, like even just getting rid of like the logic behind like how brilliant it is. It's also just like a fantastically directed scene. Like everything from the suspenseful direction to I love how you have the added element of like the popcorn catching on fire, and like so towards the end of the scene when the music really starts kicking in and ramping up, you have the smoke in there and the smoke causes the alarm to trigger. So now there's all this like chaos.
Yes. And then then when they like, she like sees her parents and like wants to call out for her, but he like got her in like the throat or something like that. And
he crushes
right there.
He after he stabs her, he chokes her. He crushes her windpipe to the point where she can't speak. She sees her parents and is trying to scream out, but physically can't get a word out. Gets slashed again. And one thing I love too is she pulls off his mask. She knows who killed her right before she dies.
Yeah, man.
You hear her body getting dragged. She's on the phone with her mom, who hears her daughter being dragged as she's dying. They go outside and they see her. It's fucking heartbreaking.
It's so nuts, man.
This is a high school girl. This is a high school teenager. Like
coming into this movie, I thought it was gonna be a little more humorous, like, or at least start off a little more humorous, at least less gruesome. But no, man, and I don't know if it's like fair to say they didn't hold back, but they did some stuff, man. That was some real great stuff.
Even the stuff you don't see the implied violence, like there are a couple shots where like when he slashes at her, you don't see her get slashed, but the impact is there. They've already established, like, because it's pretty visceral when she does first get stabbed, because she gets outside and just gets run down by Ghostface and gets stabbed in, I guess, like the upper sort of chest area. And you see the knife go in. It's not hidden. It's not obscured. Like, you see it go in, and
that
it's
was also
fucking impactful. And like, normally a shot like the end of the scene where right after the parents find her, it does like a really like quick Sam Raimi-esque zoom in on her body. And then it cuts to the title, I believe.
So
normally I'd be
brutal.
like,
And then she's, like, screaming,
normally I'd be like, oh, that's a little bit of a cheesy shot, but it really, really works in that, because like, I don't know, the lasting impact and the horror of what you just fucking witnessed. Like, I physically can't imagine, like, you try to put yourself in like the character's shoes. And apologies if you hear my dog barking in the back. But the just heartbreaking nature of two parents arriving home, seeing their home broken into, seeing a clear struggle, and then just the fucking where's my daughter? It's just all, I don't know. It all works. It's just
it was super sad. Like, when they were like running around trying to find her, I'm like,
you feel the panic.
Fuck. Like,
it's brutal.
It was not going to end up well for them. Yeah, that was just it was an incredible. Oh, intro.
We didn't even last thing.
The rest of it.
Well, yeah, we didn't even get. We'll get to it. One thing I do want to mention though about the intro, the two things I guess. One, we didn't even mention that before she dies, she sees her boyfriend get fucking gutted, like full on guts spilled out onto the patio. They're like steaming. It's fucking
that was also dude.
Yeah, it's a very
disgusting.
You're absolutely right. I don't think they hold back. They don't pull any punches in that opening scene. Right. And like, even when they do sort of reserve the violence a little bit, the implied violence works well enough. I think a lot of that has to do with like the sound design being very good too. Like the knife wounds, the stabs, the slashes, all that stuff. They sound really good. But
I'm sure they have like a lovely little like tidbit on like how they did the sound too, because the sound for the slashing, like that's something I didn't think too much about, but I feel like I can think of and hear, and like
it stands in your memory well.
Right.
It has it's just very well done technically in a lot of respects in this movie. There's a couple scenes where we can break that down a little bit more, going back to literally what led to us, I guess, talking about this opening scene is, once you know that it is two killers, right? There's certain stuff that really starts to work well, like in the opening scene when his last question to her, which we didn't even talk about, one of the most iconic parts is the "What's your favorite scary movie?" line, which his voice is magnificent. It's Mojo Jojo who does the Ghostface voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so funny.
It's so weird once you can kind of hear it.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it again. And which I don't mind doing.
Any reason to rewatch it, but
Roger Jackson.
What his final question to her after her little quiz game is, he says, "Which door am I at?" There's two entrances to your house, the front and the back. Which door am I at? It's a trick question, because there's two of them.
Both.
They're at both. And
oh my god.
So she's wrong either way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's like actually awesome.
It's such a good little detail, and I also just like, last little mention, I love that he gets her on a trick question. Not even a trick question, but asking her who the killer in Friday the 13th is, and she's so confidently in a panic and in a bad mental state says, Jason Voorhees. I've seen that movie 100 goddamn times. And he's like, if you've seen it, then you would know that Jason doesn't even show up till the sequel. In the original, it was Mrs. Voorhees. And it's like, oh no, he got her. Not that she would have lived if she got it right. She was going to die either way, but
I remember that part, and I remembered thinking, no, it's the mom. And I'm like, oh, that's so easy to mix up.
I know,
because of the whole.
So many people forget that
being the figurehead.
Exactly.
Think.
So many people forget it. Then in the first one, it blah blah blah. But
that's actually cool that you brought that up, because that's one of the things that I greatly appreciated about this movie is I guess like a defining part of this movie is that it loves horror movies or like slashers and like scary movies. It loves it. And they keep talking about it like about different like horror movies, and they bring the like stuff up and like the tropes and like all that kind of like stuff. Like they talk about it, and it's so much fun to listen to, because they even like do like tongue-in-cheek shit that's like, oh, like they had the whole nudity thing where they didn't show any nudity
despite it being rated R.
Despite being rated R, and despite like they had like a whole conversation about like, oh, they have to do it. Yeah. And then there was like that one scene where they're talking about it and watching the movie like Halloween. I think actually, yeah, they were watching Halloween.
The
which
obligatory
is
tit
awesome.
shot, as he says, Randy.
Right, he said something like that, and then you like Sydney and Billy are about to like get busy, and it like at the same time that they're having that conversation, and it's so clever and so much fun, and like when she's like getting undressed or whatever, they're like, I think Billy's head conveniently like covers it.
The camera
from,
like goes past
view.
Billy.
Yeah, dude, it's just so like, I love that. It shows like you really like enjoy it. It feels like they enjoyed what they were doing.
It simultaneously feels like a love letter to horror and slashers, but also in a way isn't afraid to poke fun at it in like a friendly way, like in a way that you'd talk with a friend and make a joke, like it and like at their expense, like not in a mean bullying way. Like you're not saying like, oh, horror sucks because of this. You're saying, oh, these are some of the charms and quirks. Like, Randy mentions in the movie, the rules of horror, where you can't have sex and you can't do drugs or alcohol or, all that stuff, which I love the fucking scene where he does the rules of horror.
it's so much fun. I love that. And, it's cool. It just like makes you think like, like they really appreciated what they were doing.
Did
and,
you
like the stuff that they were working on?
Did you like the scene where the Fonz, Henry Winkler, looks out in the hallway and you see the janitor with the fucking Freddy Krueger outfit on?
Yeah, I thought that was so funny because I
remember. I think that was Wes Craven, actually.
That was Wes Craven. Yeah. I remember that because I think I saw like a video on like Cameos or whatever. And I saw like that, and I had that kind of spoiled for me. But it is also like the most obvious like sweater of all time.
He's got the hat on,
and he's got the hat on, so it's like you can't even blink and miss it. You know what I mean? Like it's quite obvious, but it's really cool.
There's also a joke in the movie where he brings one of the characters says that like all of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels suck, and Wes Craven really likes that joke because he only did the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and he also did Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is like the 6th or 7th Nightmare on Elm Street movie, I forget. But in that movie, it's very meta. Like it takes place in the real world, quote unquote, where Wes Craven and Robert Englund exist as the writers or as the characters and director of that movie.
I think you're telling me about that.
Yeah, he makes the same joke in that movie. Like the main girl who plays the main character in the original Nightmare on Elm Street is in the back of a cab and or a taxi or some shit, and. He's like, wait, aren't you the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street? And she's like, yeah. Do you like that movie? He's like, yeah, the first one. The rest suck, though. So he's made that joke in 2 separate movies.
Damn. That's hilarious. I love that shit.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I love how that's one of the best parts about the movie. It's one of the most, I guess, iconic parts about it is not only do I think it works really effectively as a slasher on its own, but it works, like you said, as like a love letter sort of parody of the genre and of horror, but always in like a loving, friendly way, never in a mean-spirited kind of context, which I really do appreciate.
Yeah, because even when they're like complaining about like whatever in horror movies, they're like, it's so like comical. It's it's just like it's just fun, you know.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciated that about this movie. Shit, I had something I wanted to talk about, but it's like, oh, one of my favorite things
Yeah.
about this movie is the relationship between Courtney Cox's character and the and the
And-
cameraman.
Oh no, Kenny.
Who is Kenny? Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Oh.
The one thing I brought up like Scary Movie before,
Mm-hmm.
but like in Scary Movie, one of the things that they parody is is Gail and Kenny,
Mm-hmm.
and their whole bit is that she's pretty like abusive towards him. I remember he like stepped on her toe or something like that. She's like, "You're on my fat shit," and like she says something like that. And I was like, I'm like, oh my god. However,
Yeah.
in this movie, she is so much worse.
She's so
And I was
mean.
like, how on earth is she worse in this movie than in the parody of this movie where they're making fun of that like iconic part of the movie? I was like, oh my god, what did she call him? She said like something
She's like, so he's
"You
like not even.
repugnant fat piece of fucking like super like she
I think
drilled
the,
into him.
The first thing she says to him is because he's like a little like it's right when they're arriving to I think Sydney's house because it's when she gets attacked at her home, which we didn't mention is like only 20 minutes into the movie and already our main character, our main protagonist, female, is already being attacked by the killer, which is awesome. She fights him, she fends him off. Billy arrives, drops a cell phone, gets arrested, yada yada. And so Gail just arrives at her house and Kenny like doesn't start filming and she turns around and realizes and she's like, Kenny, I know you're about 50 pounds overweight, which he's not.
He's not. He's a
When
good guy.
I say move your
not gonna
ass,
yeah.
move your fat tub of lard
Oh my
ass
God.
now.
Fat shames the shit out of this dude.
Multiple
Oh my-
times.
multiple times, man. It is like, oh god.
And the movie
it is
plays
so
it up too,
abusive.
because every time you see Kenny, he is always snacking. He's always eating. He's always
Right.
eating a bag of chips or something. Or like
Right.
the one scene he like examines a Cheeto. He just looks at it like it's a fucking gem or something. But not only does Kenny get absolutely bullied by Gail the entire fucking movie,
Oh my god.
but then
the
he gets
entire
one
movie,
of
yeah.
he gets one of the most brutal deaths, dude. He straight up gets his throat just slashed.
Yeah,
my friend.
Oh god, and I was so rooting for him because
Yeah.
like, why wouldn't you? He's a nice guy.
He's not a bad person.
Fuck, man.
He gets bullied by his boss. Like that's like emotional abuse and verbal abuse.
Telling you, man.
That just gets poor guy.
Yeah, it is a.
I thought
a
when
shame.
you were bringing up a relationship with Gail, I thought you were gonna say with Dewey because
Man, you have a pretty good attachment to that couple. I like them. I think it's like kind of funny, but it's mostly just kind of like Gail being manipulative. It is but Dewey is like just an awesome character.
if he is, and well, if I have one flaw with this movie, actually there's two ones. I have two
Sure.
gripes, but if I had one nitpick, that it's I can buy into the idea that Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers would manipulate Dewey, who's a young, susceptible male cop, a little not dumb, but a little simple on the simpler side.
Right.
Just an honest, earnest guy.
He's
who also gets
kind
bullied
of like
by his
naive.
young sister. Naive, that's a good one. But
Yeah.
naive is a very good description for Dewey. He's a little young, a little naive, and I can buy
He's
into
such a good dude.
if their relationship grew into an actual relationship in this movie.
Right.
But for me, my issue with it is that I can't point to a single point in the film when their relationship goes from Gail manipulating Dewey to actually having a thing for him.
Caring about, yeah.
Like, there's not like a singular moment where I'm like, oh, he did something brave and cool, and that's where she fell in love with him.
Right.
There's no real moment. Like, even when they kiss for the first time, you're like, I don't know about that. I don't know
Yeah,
if
no,
that's,
you're-
I don't know about that.
She's definitely like toying with him, which is like, it's I don't want to say it's like a fun thing to watch, but it kind of is. Like, it's
Okay,
just,
that's because a
like,
lot
this
of
poor guy is like so like, because
Dewey
he's
is
so
a-
sweet.
Dewey's a goofball.
Yeah,
One of my
and-
favorite scenes is when he approaches the cop,
Yeah.
his boss, and his boss is like smoking a cigarette like a normal cop, and Dewey walks up with like a strawberry ice cream cone and is licking it like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, he just has he's like, oh god.
But he has such
it
a
was so
they're
funny.
talking about like these teenage murders and a killer being on the loose, and with very serious faces, and Dewey's just sitting there just, and it's like, I cannot take you seriously as a man right now. Not that you can't eat an ice
so
cream
funny.
cone, but
No, but it's like,
it's in
there's a time and
comparison to
place, I
his
guess.
yeah,
I
and
don't
now
know.
is not the time to be having ice cream, Dewey. Like, this is not like a fun summer
This-
day.
Strawberry's my favorite flavor though. So
I
appreciate
I
that at
love
least.
strawberry ice cream. I'm a
Yeah.
big strawberry supporter. I like strawberry milk too. I can't really drink milk
Dude,
these
strawberry
days,
milk.
but
Oh my god, strawberry Nesquik.
yeah,
That is like
it's good shit.
that's crack, man. It's so good.
That is liquid crack. You heard it here
It's
first.
amazing.
Sponsor us, Nesquik.
Please do. I will. Oh my god, can I get? Oh, this is my time to ask for something. Can I get like cases on cases of Nesquik? God, strawberry.
Strawberry Nesquik.
Yes, strawberry Nesquik. Please.
Hey, man.
God,
Come on, guys, put out the word. We want strawberry Nesquik.
please.
Over at Scared
Nesquik.
Speechless, that'll be the sponsor drink. Strawberry
Yeah.
Nesquik. No other flavors, just the strawberry.
Yeah, man.
Um,
That's my weakness. I love that.
Oh, you know what scene I love with Dewey? I love
Oh yeah.
when it's like the tail end of the party scene, which we didn't even mention, but the entire last like 42 minutes of the movie all take place at Stu's house because he's having this party. They're having this
Yeah.
like get together because the town is on like lockdown because kids were murdered. Kind of weird. But did the parents just not give a shit? Like, there was a lot of kids at that party.
Oh, because I think he had even said like they were away for something and
No. I mean, all the parents. They let their kids go out when there was
Oh.
a fucking murderer.
That is true. I don't know. I didn't live in 1996, so I don't know if if that's what they were all about.
Well,
I know my mom wouldn't know let jack shit happen like that.
if there was a murderer out, I also would not go to a party. Just me being in
enough.
general, I
Yeah.
just would not go to. I would leave. I would
It's like, all right.
stay in my house. But anyway,
Yeah, we can afford to sit that one out.
yeah, we're good on that.
But
The last 42 minutes of the movie all take place at this party. It's like this big climax. It's like it's the climactic event and whatever. And I forgot where I was going with that. Because there's so much.
Shit, I was gonna-
It's hard to say because there's so much shit that happens. We're at the. I
There's a
remember
lot
where I was
to
going with that.
enjoy.
So we're at the tail end of the party. By this point, we didn't talk about it yet, but maybe the most iconic kill outside the opening scene. But Tatum dies towards the beginning of the party. She goes into the beer to get She goes into the fridge to get beer, and Ghostface shows up.
that one was funny.
And she too, for some reason, like Sydney earlier in the movie, thought that it was Randy. Why does everybody think that anytime some shit's going down that it's Randy? Randy is a fucking... No, Randy wouldn't do that. I understand that Randy's a dumbass and he's a little socially awkward, like when he screamed in the fucking video store about how the cops should watch Prom Night like a fucking doofus.
Like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, like one of those. He sounded like Alex Jones in that instance. He's like, "Why are they watching Prom Night? They could solve this murder." Shut the fuck up.
Dude.
Prom Night sucks. Sorry,
man.
I don't like that movie.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if that's
I have never seen
I
it,
don't
so
know if-
I have yet to judge if you're fucking stupid for that or not.
I don't know. I'm never wrong.
Okay.
About anything ever.
Sure.
But no, so they're at the tail end of the party. Tatum gets murdered by crawling. So she runs into Ghostface. She actually puts up a pretty good fight.
Does.
She puts up a pretty good
I was
fight.
so impressed.
Throws beer bottles
Like, that
at
was
him,
really
knocks
cool.
him down with the fridge door. Does a pretty good job. And then she tries to escape by crawling. Actually, she gets her arm cut. He does get a hold of her, cuts her arm. She tries to crawl through the doggy door of the garage and gets stuck, which in the trivia, it's a fun fact that she was apparently too small and kept falling out, so they had to staple parts of her shirt to the door to make it look like she was actually stuck. But anyway,
Aw.
turns the switch on that brings the door up, brings her body up, crushes her like spine. Pretty fucking gruesome death. Another one where it's like you don't see a ton, but you see just enough. And again, the sound design very good. Like I can like hear in my head the crunching noise it makes when it kills her. Very good death, very iconic.
Oh man, yeah.
I would say honestly,
sounds
one
really
probably one of the most iconic deaths in a slasher, up there with Bob from Halloween when he gets stabbed and impaled on the wall. Like it is up
Yeah.
there for me. Great scene, but after that, basically tail end of the party, and the house gets a call. Randy answers, or maybe it's Randy's cell phone. I can't remember, but he answers the phone, finds out that their principal, Henry Winkler, Principal Himbry, has been killed and strung up at the football field. A bunch of the kids decide to go and see the body, which again, kind of fucked up.
These kids are desensitized, man.
They are monsters.
I was like, not even. I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody or any like teacher I know that sucked so much that if I heard that they were gutted / destroyed and left hanging on the fence post, that I'm gonna be the first one in line jumping over the couch from the party that I'm at.
They were
like,
so excited
on their
Aaron.
way to go see that shit. That freaked me out. I was like,
They were, the second they heard
God.
that, they were so excited. To be fair, two of the kids who were very excited were the kids that Principal Henry had expelled earlier that day because they ran around the halls in the Ghostface costumes.
Oh yeah.
So maybe those two I can believe, but everybody else was way too excited to go and fucking see the dead principal hanging from the school football field's goalposts. That is outrageous.
Henry Winkler really tore into those guys like poetically. He was
dude,
like,
he dissected
"It is because of you
them.
that the filth of man," like kind of like esque poetic thing. And he was like, he essentially said like, "I wish I could kill you guys like so badly."
He is
and
a
I'm
great
like, oh my
red
God.
herring at first.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's a good red herring.
I didn't. Well, not for me.
No. Okay.
No. It's hard to
Picture-
say.
again-
I have to separate myself from
Put yourself in the
one
mindset
who
of someone
watched
who
the
doesn't know the
thing, like,
killers.
ending.
There's good red herrings in this movie, and like it's easy to look back now, and we didn't really dive into it, but the scene where we see all of our main high school characters, Sydney, Stu, Billy, Tatum, and Randy all together, it's after the opening scene, and they're all sitting on the fucking, it's like a fountain, school fountain or whatever, having a conversation. There, Sydney is clearly distraught because we do find out through some dialogue and a couple references and mentions that 1 year prior, her mother was quote unquote raped and killed, and so it's very tragic. It's a very sad backstory for Sydney's character. So more characters being, or more people in the town of Woodsboro being killed is pretty fucking. It gets to her more than it does the other kids.
Bad. Yeah, it was bad, and like I remember watching that, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's really sad."
It's dark,
and then like it's dark, and then you see like the television, and you see like the news report, and you just fucking see Liev Schreiber like just turn his head, and he's supposedly the guy who did all that.
Good old Sabretooth.
Liev Schreiber's in here for like a second. What the fuck?
They get him for they get him for like a 7-second TV footage shot.
It is so like, I think when I think of Scream, I think Matthew Lillard, I think Neve Campbell, I think like Courtney Cox. Leave Schreiber though, just like
Liev
out of nowhere.
fucking Schreiber. I
man.
love that for him, and I love that the casting director was able
Sure.
to just like see the future.
Yeah, no, damn.
But yeah.
awesome.
What we were talking about earlier with like how obvious Billy and Stu are when they're
Yeah.
like, so they're talking about the murder of Casey Becker, Drew Barrymore's character, and Steve, her boyfriend, the night prior. And
Yep.
Sydney's like, asks a very reasonable question. She's clearly distraught. She's like, how do you gut someone like that? And Stu, resident goofball, gets so serious and immediately starts talking about how you gut somebody in excruciating detail.
Dude. Oh my god.
And Billy is looking at him like, hey, dude, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And then you
Yeah.
realize the psychotic nature of this scene when you realize Stu is so, like you said, desensitized and psychotic.
Definitely.
He is literally describing how he killed Stu, or how he killed Steve and Casey the night before. They were both gutted. Their insides gutted. He's literally describing how he just murdered two people. Because as I mentioned, Billy and Stu were both at Casey's house that night, I believe. It's psychotic. And one of the other things we didn't talk about that is also psychotic is we talk about how much like Billy pressures Sydney to have sex in this movie. Like to a really like forceful nature, not like physically, but he like pressures her so hard to the point where, like we mentioned earlier, there's literally a bit of dialogue that essentially boils down to get over your dead mom. It's only been a year. Let's have sex.
Right. Yeah. No, I was like, it catches you so well. I don't know if it catches you off guard.
Yeah.
But it's so like,
it's
blunt. It's such a blunt thing to say.
It's ridiculous.
And not the right thing to say.
No,
oh God.
Not at all. And also, dude, I understand that you're mad that she accused you of being your killer, but if you're not, put yourself in the mindset of her. She was just attacked.
Right.
And you're still like, hey, fuck me.
That was another thing that like I thought was really cool actually. The one time that she was getting chased down in the house right before he got arrested. So it must have been Stu chasing her down.
Yes, that was Stu.
In the house.
Correct.
And earlier on in the movie, Billy comes in through her window and is like hanging out or whatever. And then like her dad's like coming and she's like, oh no, can't be here. And uses her closet door, right? Or was the closet door just open? And he tried to open it and
so
it got stuck.
When Billy first breaks in through a window, after the opening kill, which I guess I made a mistake earlier. The first scene after the opening kill is when Billy sneaks in through her window. And you know what's crazy too? Looking back, quick note, he clearly looks like he was like sweating. Like his hair is like very. It's not wet, but it looks damp, like he was just killing somebody, which is psychotic.
Well, he was just climbing.
And his hair is a little messy, you know. I don't know. I think it's a good little detail. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but at least it's how I read it on rewatches. But yeah, so anyway, she hears her dad coming because she screams, and luckily enough, this time the closet door is already open when the dad opens the door.
But so then you like see that, and I thought absolutely nothing of it until I like I talked a little bit about this with you, and then later on in that scene where she's being chased down, she uses the closet door to hold it to like make sure it doesn't open, which was awesome.
She's smart.
I was like, that was smart as shit. Like regardless of if you saw that before, like to be that quick on your feet, it was so cool. It made me like really appreciate this, like the quote unquote final girl element of this horror specific scary movie.
She's the ultimate final girl.
She's awesome.
She's such a badass.
So awesome.
Hey, remember Black Christmas 2019 and how shitty that was at being a feminist movie? Scream is a feminist movie. It does not sexualize its characters. You never see them naked. And Sydney is she's the ultimate badass.
Fucking awesome, man.
Dude,
Sydney's great.
We didn't talk about it, but do you mind if we jump to the final final fight?
In just a second.
Okay,
because
say what
think
you
I had
need.
like one more thing. What was it? Oh, it's got to do with. I said it's got to do with, so I was hoping it would jog my memory, but it
Did
did
it
not
have to
come
do with
me.
anything with Billy and Stu? Was it more
Billy and Stu? Oh no, I was like thinking. Actually, it's like all the way back to Principal, whatever the hell.
Principal Henry?
No, I
Hey,
just thought like, I thought like, it's interesting because the whole mystery of who is the killer is like always around. Like that's like the whole thing. And like you were saying, like he was another like red herring for like people to kind of like think, ooh, is this the killer? But I feel like they used something pretty interesting, which was like it's kind of like the reverse of a Chekhov's gun kind of thing. Because he did state his motive, like he stated a motive, but then so that means he's gonna die.
yeah.
Because then we know, then there won't be any reveal at the end. It'll just be that, you know. So
He does die early on.
yeah,
Actually, it's
So-
it's probably like 40 or so minutes.
I think it's actually more like a little closer to like halfway.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, because
Yeah.
this movie is only like an hour and 50 minutes, but it like flies by in my opinion. Like it feels so
I get you.
efficiently paced. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. There's just
I
really
didn't. I truthfully didn't feel like it was that like long.
no, not at all.
Yeah,
It
I
like I
was-
said, it just is kind of cruises by, and I think a big part of that is because like the whole fucking like I said, the last 42 to 45 minutes at the party is so good. You kick it off with Tatum dying, and
yeah.
one other thing I didn't mention about Billy and Stu that I love is right after because it's pretty assumed that Billy is the one who killed Tatum, and which I think is kind of in my head. I think it's a little bit of an exchange because, like we said earlier, Stu tries to kill Sydney and Billy kills Tatum. So I think they made an agreement to kill each other's girlfriends, which I actually I don't think I've put two and two together until now. I think that's actually maybe what the thing was. Maybe they made a deal like, oh,
That's
I'll kill Tatum
interesting.
if you kill Sydney, because Sydney does get attacked.
Yeah.
Like their intention was not to scare her. I don't think. I think
No.
Stu really was trying
Because
to
it's
kill
like,
her.
what would have happened if he did come into the room? You know,
Exactly.
that just would have been it.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know, but either way, you kick off the party with Tatum dying almost immediately. Okay, Sydney's best friend, main character, dead. Another character, boom, gone. Red herring, you know? Because I think the entire main group of friends is a red herring at this point, including other characters like Dewey and even Gale to an extent, Principal Hembry. I think they're all pretty good red herrings, and it's like when you first watch this and you don't know the killers, it's like, it really could be anybody. It even could be Sydney's dad, which we didn't bring up too much, but her dad basically leaves on a vacation and then or not a vacation, a business trip, and they can't find him.
Right.
But either way, yeah, you kick off the party scene, you kill Tatum, you kill a main character, and you're already like, oh shit's hitting the fan. But when Billy arrives at the party right after Tatum dies, he shoots Matthew Lillard this look and like kind of like raises his eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah.
And it kind of just I've always just read it as like a little like, hey, I just it's done, I just killed her, which is so
Yeah.
fucking psychotic again. And oh my god. And one thing that so my other I didn't mention earlier, my second nitpick,
Oh yeah, that's true.
the stuff between Sid and Billy is so cringy.
Yeah.
It's so
It is so
ugh.
because she's so like chill and like happy or like more like jovial, and he's just like stiff as a board.
Well, just no, like everything they say is so
like,
uncomfortable.
menacing.
When they're like about to have sex at the end and they're like hugging, and she's like, "I wish this could be a Meg Ryan movie or even a good porno," and I'm like, "No,
Whoa.
stop it, Stop it right now.
Yeah.
It's just so cringy.
Oh, I think she was. Oh, yeah, she had said that.
That's right before they have sex.
Right before they did.
Right before they go to Pound Town.
I think she was definitely like. She definitely seemed like she was. Ended up like maybe falling for like the gaslighting.
Oh yeah.
Which sucks, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And I love how
I saw that as like a moment of weakness kind of thing. So that's why she would say
she's
it, like,
finally
say
vulnerable.
something like, yeah,
and
silly, I guess.
the more psychotic aspect of it too is that like because you find out that Billy and Stu took so much inspiration from horror movies, like they even like Stu at the end he says like, oh, watched a couple movies, took some notes, it was fun.
It was fun.
I love the way he says it. It's so good.
Every one of his lines is fucking tastic.
I
have my favorite line of anything ever.
Which
now
one?
Because of this movie.
Which one is it?
You hit me with a fucking phone, you dick.
Yes, and that was improvised by my boy Lillard.
You with a fucking phone, dick.
Yeah. Oh, see,
he's spitting all over the place.
Matthew
Lillard spits a lot in this movie.
He's salivating so much. No, dude, everything he says, like when he's like, "Hey, dude, you want another beer? I'll be right back."
Yeah. Oh my gosh, his delivery.
Is
so fucking good.
Yeah, because everything he says is so exaggerated. He's like a goddamn cartoon in this movie, but it's fucking when he's like, I'm feeling a little woozy over here, man. He gets like this like Brooklyn accent for like half a second.
He's like, he's doing that, and then there's like just blood like all over his face. That's gross.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
but dude, I think we're at the time where we're gonna talk about that now, eh?
What the final scenes
stuff? Yeah, the final.
So,
scenes.
like it's right after.
I don't know if you had anything.
No, it basically leads right off what I was saying. They're basically shit starts to immediately hit the fan. Oh, one thing I want to mention quick before we fully divulge it, because it is kind of important, is that Gail and Dewey go into the party, and Gail puts in a camera that is recording live to the camera van, but it's on a 30-second delay. So basically, it's the tail end of the party. They've already shown a shot of most of the people leaving. A couple of the people are left watching Halloween, which is a kind of clever way to have the Halloween music in it, and I kind of like that element. Nice little homage there. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I remember like seeing it on the screen, and I'm like, oh my god, I actually know this film.
Is that movie? Like, I love it. Yeah,
it's that movie.
And there's a couple.
Oh man, they even like. I'm sorry. They like pointed out that one scene that was really, really good where like he like steps out from behind her and shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh god.
No, it's so clever. And it's like they have a couple little homages to Halloween. Like at the opening scene, when the dad and mom get home, the dad says, "Oh, go to the Mackenzies and get help," which is Laurie in Halloween says to the kids, "Go down to the Mackenzies and get help," or whatever. Nice little nod there. Man. Drew Barrymore even says her favorite movie is Halloween. So, very clear love to, the best slasher of all time. And basically, once the principal is dead and everybody is told, most of the rest of the people leave the party. So the only people left are Billy, Stu, Randy, Gail, Kenny until he gets his throat slashed, and Dewey. Yeah. And basically shit starts to hit the fan. Characters are getting fucking axed off one by one. I don't know. What do you want to just get to? Like, what are you itching to talk about? The reveal? Because I love the fucking reveal.
I love the reveal so much. Like
it's
the one
so
thing.
Good.
Yeah. So it's like she knows that that Ghostface is about the house and whatnot, and she. I forget what leads up to it, but like when she's like outside and then there's Stu and Randy and they're like, oh, like the fucking killer's out here, like everything's crazy. Like,
she falls out the window.
Oh damn.
Yeah, and she lands on like the boat cover.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because it's right after they have sex, and it looks like Billy gets killed, and then she goes out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Should have
Holy
broken her
shit.
neck, but
But
whatever.
yeah, no. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
whatever. But
She's sturdy.
Yeah, she's awesome. So that's the answer for you. But God damn it.
Sorry.
No sweat.
No, but you were saying she was outside, and Randy,
yeah, she was outside,
Randy
and
Stu.
Randy and Stu are out there, and she's like, she has a gun, and she's like, like, I don't know who to shoot kind of situation.
Yeah.
And then Stu's over there acting his ass off, and you can see it.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's not a bad acting on Matt Lillard's part. It's bad acting on Stu's part.
Yeah.
And it was just so like funny because I'm like, dude, please. And then she's just like going back and forth, and Randy's like innocent as hell.
Yep.
And
Poor Randy.
she backs up, and she's like, fuck both of you. And then she just closes the fucking door on both of them. And I'm like, oh my God.
See, you guys want to know why
Oh,
Aaron
dude.
likes that, because in
so cool.
in like our last 4 episodes, every time a character has needed help and the people go back to save them, Aaron is always like, "No, I would not do that."
Because like, why? I don't know, man. You're directly putting yourself
yeah.
into.
He will not.
You're begging for something to happen.
He will
to you,
not
man.
risk it for the biscuit. No, I honestly I would do
I
the
don't know
same
how
as her.
close her and Stu and Randy are, but like she probably evaluated that, like assessed
At that
and
point,
was like,
trust
nah,
nobody.
man.
Yeah, trust
Yeah,
nobody.
fuck
Like,
it.
goddamn, she's smart for a second, and then she immediately trusts Billy when he
Oh yeah, she gives it to Billy.
You know what I love about that is like, because you find out Billy doesn't get stabbed. Obviously, he's one of the killers.
Right. Although that was quite convincing. I remember something actually.
He wouldn't have any wounds though. Would she not notice that he doesn't have any wounds?
Didn't he have like a little blood on him though?
He had a little blood, but like you wouldn't
Like,
notice that there's no stab
in
wounds.
the heat of the moment. I think that
Yeah, she did
worked
just get
fine.
her. She did just get her world rocked by old Skeet.
For sure. And I think he like said, because
he does fall down.
I
the
think
stairs.
I remember. Didn't he turn around and did he say Sydney, or did he say C as in C? I'm not the killer or something like that?
No.
Like,
I think he said Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he says.
I don't know,
because he does it in such a he is also not convincing, because he's like Sydney, and then like falls.
Probably.
But I will say his most convincing acting performance is when he falls down the stairs, because he falls like a goddamn, like it's a Three Stooges
He takes
skate.
a full header.
That's like a lot of stairs, dude. Man just fucking tumbles down them.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, give me the gun.
Oh,
And then-
oh my God, I think there was like a million stairs in Scary Movie.
Yeah.
like 3
Oh
different
no, you're right.
levels to the house or something like that. It was so fucking funny.
I love Scary Movie. That's like my favorite parody movie.
I gotta watch that again.
Maybe we'll do that one episode. That would be
Sure,
fun. That'd be a fun one to talk about.
I'm so into it.
I'm always down to watch that movie. But one thing, dude, my favorite Skeet Ulrich moment in this movie is, so he convinces he convinces Sydney to give him the gun. He opens the door. Randy runs in, and he's like, guys, I don't know what happened. Stu went crazy. He's a madman.
Yeah.
He went crazy, and then, what does he say? What does he say? Mad or crazy?
He's gone like nuts or something like that, probably.
He's gone. He said he's gone mad, and then and then Skeet turns around in the most fucking badass Clint Eastwood way, points the gun at fucking Randy and says, "We all go a little mad sometimes," and then shoots him, and then he's like Anthony Perkins,
cool.
Psycho, and then he like licks the fake blood off him, and he's like, corn syrup, same thing they used for Carrie's for the pig's blood in Carrie. Just more little fun references.
I think that's where he smiles for the first time.
He's got the blood on his face. It's so creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's unsettling.
Yeah.
So I mean, fucking props to him, man.
he is one of the few reveals in this. As much as I love the Scream franchise, again, like I said, it's my favorite franchise. Him and Stu are some of the very few killers that once the mask is removed and you see who's under it, they are still effectively scary.
Yeah, that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they like, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
Because the entire time you like, the whole like iconic part of this movie is the killer, like the ghost face.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's like the figurehead of the franchise. But then you have like the actual killers and they're still able to hold your attention.
Absolutely.
And make you like think like these guys are fucking nuts. And
so crazy.
Dude, it was just so great. And then after that, like Matt Lillard comes back, Stu, and he's like, "Hey, Sid," or like, "Surprise, Sydney,"
Yeah,
like something like that with the
Surprise,
voice changer thing,
Sydney.
and it's like, cool. And then you like see like a lot of like what their energy is in is fucking like all those fucking movies, saying that it's like kind of like implying that they're crazy because of the movies, but not really. But or no, Skeet Ulrich has an actual motive, which was like her mom was like, his dad cheated on his mom for her mom.
Yeah. He was banging Mrs. Prescott.
Yeah, and then he left, I think, right? And then
she left. His mom left.
His mom left. And that was it. Like it was, but it's like,
yeah,
he's just clearly like, he can say that that's what he's doing it for, but he's clearly just an unwell person. And then you get to Matt, you get to Stu, and he's really just along for the ride and also kind of nuts. Like later on, what they end up like stabbing each other so they can frame it to make it look like they were also attacked by the killer
multiple
and then kill
times.
Sydney.
They stab each other multiple times.
They stab each other multiple times. Stu definitely gets the worst bit of it. Because he gets stabbed like 5 or 6 times, I think I remember. I remember like counting and like hearing the audio and like trying to sync it up to who it could have been.
One stab would have been fine. Like
one stab, 1 or 2 could have been.
I think
just
you're good
fine.
with 1.
2 would have been.
I don't. You know what, Aaron? I don't think the police are going to be like, you know what? You didn't get stabbed enough.
I mean, hey. I would know nothing about getting away with
you
murder.
only got stabbed 1 time. We know you did it.
All right, but so Stu gets stabbed fucking like 5 times. And I think Billy like 3. And
something like that, yeah.
And that's what gets Stu all woozy here. And he like that whole fucking like time that he's like that is amazing. Like just fucking perfection, because he's sitting down. Sydney had escaped. I'm trying not to like over explain the like setting, but so Stu had to watch Sydney and he let her out of his sight and she ran away. She ends up calling the home phone, and like Stu picks up. One of the things that they had said, those like conversations were fucking excellent. She had said, so Billy told me his like big motive. What's yours? Mm-hmm. And he's like peer pressure. I'm very sensitive. And then like something happens and like interrupts him. But it was like, Billy goes and picks up the phone, and it was so fucking funny. And then the next time, he picks up the phone. He's like, "Hey, you didn't actually call the police, did you?" And Sydney's like, "You bet your ass I did."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me." And it's like, he's clearly like, I feel like at that point, I don't know. It's hard to say if he's delusional or Stu or both.
See,
And
what's more psychotic? You know, going after your girl, going after a girl because her mom slept with your dad, which made your mom leave, or just just going, like you said, going along with it, going along the ride with Billy. Like he just goes for, he's just like imagine the conversation between Billy and Stu where Billy's like, "Hey, listen, man, you want to put on a mask and costume and just like, you know, kill a bunch of our friends and like the principal of our school and peers. You don't want to do that? Well, you know, we can watch a couple horror movies. Like, it's fucking batshit insane.
It'll be cool."
And
so yeah, you're right. There's definitely been a conversation in which Billy is the one gaslighting Stu, so that way they can. Yeah,
what do you think of that scene where, because again, I don't know how to read it, and I think we've talked about this already, but I don't know how to read the scene where Billy does reveal his actual motive to Sydney, because it does cut to Stu, and the reaction on his face is very much like, "Oh, I've never heard of this. I thought we were just doing this for the fun of it."
He looks surprised, right?
But is that him just playing into the moment and overacting for like the drama of it, or did he really just not know?
I feel like, if anything, maybe Stu was super into like the horror movies, and maybe that's kind of the angle that he went for, because that's the thing that they both kind of love and like talk about is like horror movies. And like
Stu doesn't bring it up as much as Billy does.
Well, he was in the video store.
He was in the video store.
He was talking about it with what's his name? No,
but that was,
or was he talking mostly about the murders?
He wasn't really talking too much about anything, just making weird cartoon faces. Randy is mostly talking about horror movies, and even like throughout the dialogue in the movie, when you think about it, it's mostly Billy who's making the references. When he meets Sydney, he brings up how he was watching The Exorcist. He literally says to Sydney, when she's like, "But life's not a movie," and she's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Yeah, it is. Life's just one big movie." Like, it's Billy's the one who really likes the movies. He's a movie buff.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about us, but
I think he kind of put him on to more horror movies, maybe.
Yeah.
And
Stu was probably a big fan of comedies
together, and talked about horror movies for a really long time. And they came out with about 3 seasons, maybe had a few hiatuses here and there for mental health and whatnot.
Oh no, he's getting meta. Oh no.
And then life imitates art and whatnot.
Hey now. That's the second one. Shh.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm very excited to talk about the second movie too. I'm excited to talk about all the Scream movies.
Let me sound like I came up with that on my own.
But yeah, dude, I love the finale. I love just the psychotic nature of it. I love how intense it is. Just everything, like you were talking about, all those Stu quotes. Like half of my notes when I was watching this movie were just writing down things that Stu says. I love his performance. It's so energetic, and I think Billy sometimes gets a little overlooked because Stu is so energetic and charismatic, but like Billy is equally, if not more, terrifying. He's creepy, he's unsettling, and I love the final showdown between Sydney and both ghost faces, Stu and Billy, because so basically what happens is, I don't know if we brought it up yet, but they get distracted because Gail Weathers shows back up. She crashed her van. They thought she was dead. She shows back up with a gun, to which Billy is like, "I thought you said she was dead." And Stu says, "She looked it, still does." Which is so fucking good. And it just, his delivery is incredible in that moment, in every moment.
Good. And that's one of the things, right? Is that he didn't initially go with the intention to get that role or to audition. No?
He didn't go to audition at all. He was bringing his girlfriend to the lot to audition, and I think one of the producers saw him and said, "Hey, you should audition for this movie," and he went for the role of Billy, didn't get it, and they said, "Oh, like, do you want to play like the ugly, crazy best friend?" And he was like,
Right.
"Yeah, sure, I'll do it," and it's perfect. Dude,
It
the
works. Oh
casting
my
the
God, it
casting
works
in
so
this
fucking
movie
well.
fell into place so perfectly. This movie should have sucked. This movie should have been a complete fucking mess. Like they originally wanted Drew Barrymore as Sidney Prescott, the lead character,
Yeah.
but then she scheduling conflicts and then she pulled out. But then it was her suggestion to be like, "Hey, why don't you make me the opening kill of this movie?" Awesome.
Really?
Her doing that led to one
That's
of the
so
most
fucking cool.
iconic opening scenes in any horror film, just in any film, period. And then, in addition to that, you get Nev Campbell, who plays Sidney Prescott so perfectly. I think I don't know if I could have bought Drew Barrymore on the more badass elements of Sidney Prescott, but Nev Campbell is able to bring that vulnerability and also that kind of spicy, fiery energy that she brings to so many of those scenes. And like
Yeah.
I love like the whole, again, like I was saying, the whole climax where she's fighting Stu and Billy, and she starts out by what I was getting to earlier is basically Gail shows up. She doesn't realize that the safety is on the gun. Billy notices. He like
Right.
kicks her against the wall, and she like gets knocked out again. And right as he's about to
Yeah.
kill her, Stu turns around and he's like, "You're gonna love this," and realizes that Sydney is gone because he wasn't watching her.
Oh my God, dude.
So he should have been
So
watching her.
fucking funny.
Sydney obviously gets away. She calls them using the ghost face things like, "Oh, the cops are on the way." That's when you get the whole "I'm feeling woozy
Yeah.
here" thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
she's hiding in the closet. Billy stands in front of the closet. She fucking bursts out of it, stabs him
Fucking
in the
ridiculous.
shoulder with the fucking end of like an umbrella, like the sharp end of an umbrella. Gets into a scrap with them. They're fighting each
Dude.
other.
Yeah. I guess I get what you mean. I love Drew Barrymore. I think she is definitely like good in her roles. I do think like you're right. Like with Nev Campbell, I feel like she has like this intensity that she
Yeah.
can like kind of get into, and like it was so like amazing to watch. Like I really, yeah, no, I definitely love Nev Campbell for that role.
She's perfect. Like,
Yeah,
and
man,
just
that's
you can say it's a
great.
little stupid, but like even when she gets the first call, and
Right.
she's like, "I'm calling your bluff," and just immediately opens the door and steps outside. A little dumb, but badass. Like that's her. She doesn't run. She fights. Like
That's true.
she's a fighter. She kicks ass. She fucking after she stabs Billy and she's getting kind of the fuck beaten out of her, she fucking beats him by pushing her thumb into the fucking stab wound from the
Yeah, dude.
umbrella.
Oh,
Just get like
that was so gross.
fully sticks the thumb in there. Great
Ugh.
effect. It obviously takes him out. Fights
And then kills him with the TV.
Oh no, that's Stu. She
Oh,
kills
no,
Stu
it's
with the TV. Yeah, because
Oh, yeah.
You think Stu's dead. He bursts out like a fucking again like a cartoon character, and he's like ah, and he runs at her, and tackles her over the couch.
They fucking tumble. They
Yeah.
literally roll.
Dude, the fucking the couch, because Billy went crazy and tore up the
Yeah.
couch for some reason, and all the pillows. So there's like white feathers everywhere.
Mhm.
And so they like tumble over the couch. There's white feathers fucking flooding the air. He's on top of her. She smashes the fucking the vase over his head, and then drops one of
Yeah.
those old timey heavy ass TVs right on that fucker's head.
Dude,
It's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like we should put this out there because there are going to be younger viewers / listeners out there. TVs did not used to be generally light, or even if you
Yeah.
have like a big TV at home and you've like felt how it's like how heavy it is.
Mm-hmm.
These fucking television sets, it doesn't matter how much smaller it is to that other one, it is likely so much heavier.
They
It
weigh
is
like
so fucking
300
heavy.
pounds or some shit. They are so fucking heavy.
Yeah, no, I had like this one that I had when I was like I would play like my NES games, and it was like it's fucking huge. Like it's
Massive.
not like huge in like a grand fancy thing. It's literally just like
It's like a brick.
it's like a brick. It's like
Yeah.
huge brick.
Like a big ass
Like
brick.
it's like a literal my thing like a boulder. And
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
and the
so-
quality won't be great because it's like an older television. But
unless it's a CRTV and you're playing Smash Bros. Melee, get rid of that lag input.
Yeah.
A little
But
nerdy,
fuck, man,
nerdy,
it was
nerdy
so.
gamers there. But yeah,
nuts.
dude, drops the
That's a good detail to put in there.
I think every death in this movie is really great. Like Drew Barrymore, the throat slit, Principal Himbry's death is pretty good. Fucking Tatum's death is iconic. Dewey gets attacked but doesn't die. He gets stabbed in the back, so I'm not going to count that because that would have been kind of lame. But Billy, oh my god, Stu. So anyway, Stu gets killed, and basically they think it's all done, and basically they walk over to Billy's body, and this is just another great fucking Sydney moment. But Randy is still alive, makes like a funny remark about how he's never been so glad to be a virgin, because that's like a running theme in this movie that if you're a virgin in horror movies you can't die, which is just funny. Which they break that mold obviously because Sydney has sex but still survives.
There you go.
But basically he's
Awesome
like, wait,
details.
this is the moment when Randy, or this is the moment when the killer like shows up for one final scare, and Billy like pops his head up and goes boo, and then fucking Sydney shoots him in the head and goes, not in my movie.
Oh, not this movie or something. Yeah, dude. Oh man, that was so.
She's just a badass, and
She's so cool.
Every
that
regard.
double tap, man.
The double tap.
Double tap,
I
I
even
respect
love
it.
her, like when she does get away. I love her calling with the goat. Like that means she took the time to find the voice changer before she hid in the closet to call them, which is awesome. And just everything, like she's so fierce and is such a fighter in this movie that like every time she interacts with Ghostface, she just fights back, and it's very.
It makes
I don't
her
know,
like an
it's-
interesting character.
Exactly.
It's like so much fun. I will say though, her one weakness in this movie was the one scene. It was literally that scene of that we were talking about before, I think, right? Where Billy is talking to Sydney and was like, "Oh, I don't care about the killer. I want to have sex and stuff." Like,
yeah.
Didn't she say something along the lines of, "I'm sorry if my life is an inconvenience to your perfect existence," and something like that.
Yeah.
And in Scary Movie, they like, it's Anna Faris and she like skips away in the weirdest thing.
Well, because
and I remember watching that scene
Yeah.
in Scary Movie
Uh-huh.
and thinking, why did she do that? Like, that's such a random joke. I love it, but it is like, yeah. And then I watched that
Now
part
you get it.
and I totally get it. Like, oh, she does do like this like awkward-ish thing, and I can't. It's like I can't even say shit about it because I know for a fact that I run weirdly. Like I don't know what it is. Running is awkward.
It's a little she does like a little scamper.
She does do kind of like a little scamper.
She
I think that
scampers
is
away.
a good thing. It's
Before,
so funny and makes her seem so unassuming when
She's so innocent.
later she's gonna fucking double tap that boy. Pop pop.
Pop pop. No, I love to that scene
Dang,
precedes.
she literally lost. Whoa, actually, thinking about that, she lost her virginity and murdered that guy the same night.
Not even the same night, within like a 10-minute span of
Within-
each other. Imagine
That's
getting
true.
imagine getting fucked and then that
Oh.
person being dead 10 minutes later. And you killed them.
You killing them. Yeah.
You killed them and their best friend.
And their bet. Yeah.
Yo, Sydney
Oh,
got
yeah.
a body count, man. No,
Dude,
she's
that
great.
was nuts.
Dude, the fucking TV on Stu's head, awesome death. Billy killing
Yeah.
him, awesome death. All the
So
fucking
good.
references and jokes. I love just like the scenes of suspense are just very well done. Like we just talked about the scene where she argues with Billy in the hallway, but that scene directly precedes the scene after where Sydney's in the bathroom, and this is where she hears some of her classmates talking about her mother kind of being a little promiscuous with other men in the town outside of her father. It really sucks, and then they leave, and then she's about to leave, but then you get a really awesome shot where you just see these boots drop down from where the toilet is, and then
and she ducks him.
yeah, well, I love right before that. No, the coat comes down, and like the Ghostface coat comes down, and then she sees it and immediately bolts. He comes out, she ducks his ass, sprints away.
So hard, man. That was so cool.
Incredible. People debate whether or not that was actually a Ghostface attack or whether it was like another classmate just like messing around with her. But
that's a
I don't
good
know.
question, because
I think it works either way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Because what it does,
it definitely does.
What it does is it makes you feel like a place like a school is,
like
which is generally exactly nowhere is safe. Exactly. It takes away like, oh, I'm at school, there's tons of people here, like hiding, like, I'm not gonna get attacked here, and then boom, she does, and it's really well handled. Really, also this movie's just very well directed. There's so many great shots. We didn't really talk about.
That's actually what I was just about to say is like the shots in this movie, like
incredible.
They're great. There's nothing like, I don't know. It's from the start of this movie, it grabs your attention real hard with that intro, and it just does not let go.
Not at all.
Like it keeps up with itself in terms of like quality and like interest. I feel like I really like this movie.
The energy.
Like,
it has such a like the movie itself has just such like a charisma and charm and energy to it that is like, for me, why it's my second favorite horror film behind Halloween is because I genuinely can just sit down and watch Scream at any point, any time of the year, any time of the day, and it be super effective and me just have a good time with it. And it just seems like as many times as I've seen this movie, I always notice little things. Like I've always appreciated the cinematography and how well it's shot and put together in this movie. But when taking notes for this podcast for this movie, I was just really shocked at how many times I was like, oh, this has kind of been like a bit of a long take. Like this is like a really continuous shot where the characters are moving and interacting. Like the scene where they're leaving school and Stu invites Sydney to a party because he's like, oh, I'm throwing a little soiree together to celebrate the good news.
That.
It's like a really decently long tracking shot, and there's like other characters walking and moving and maneuvering throughout the scene, and just blocking really good.
Yeah, I can even remember exactly what you're talking about and how the camera moved with them all. Like that's so true. That was a really nice, like, it's nice. It makes the movie feel so like cohesive and easier to like digest and have fun with. So I think they really pulled it all together so wonderfully, and
all the pieces.
I really just love this movie.
All the pieces fit together, and that's there, even the like little minor nitpicks I have with this movie, nothing takes me out of the experience. Like, and like you just like there's so much to grasp onto, like we talked about, whether it's like the sound design of the slashing wounds and or the stabs, or just like the sheer well direction of the suspense scenes and how well just each scene builds upon each other. We talked about how the movie's like a little over an hour and 50 minutes, I believe. However, it feels like 90 minutes. It just flies by, and that's because the editing and the pacing, every scene works, nothing feels wasted, and even like the little goofier elements that, this movie's 96, some of the elements that maybe don't age as well, they just sort of add to that charm. It's like a time capsule of like, oh, this is something that was made in the late 90s. So there's a lot to appreciate and absorb. Like I love when they first get to the party when Dewey is dropping them off at the end of the movie, and it's like starts out and it seems like just like a kind of wide shot of the house, but then Dewey's car pulls up, they get out, you see Nev Campbell and Tatum get out of the car, and then it turns into a crane shot. Like it cranes out as they're walking into the party, and you see teenagers interacting outside. You see the lights on inside the house and people interacting through the windows. And there's just so much going on in every frame that it never feels like there's, whether it's like the pacing or like the in-scene direction and stuff, there's never any dead air. It just, everything just keeps moving. It's like a non-stop locomotive, and it's so efficient. I love it. I love every second of it.
There's just so much to appreciate about this movie, I feel like.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's something for everyone kind of thing.
Yeah. I I just don't see much wrong with it. I don't see what someone can really.
Yeah.
I get maybe not being scared by this movie. I think
Yeah.
maybe it's
And I will say there were a couple times where I jumped.
I think it's still a very scary film. Because I think of it like, imagine just being in high school. Like, I went to a very small high school. I knew the name of every kid in my high school. If I found out that like a kid that I had class with was like a fucking serial killer, that would kind of traumatize me a little bit. Like,
Yeah, it'd be pretty fucked.
imagine, like, we didn't talk about it, but one of the really effective things that I like in little details is that I think that they mentioned in the film that Stu was dating Casey Becker, Drew Barrymore's character, prior, and then Randy says, "Yeah, didn't she break up with you for Steve?" And he's like, "No." And then Tatum's like, "I thought you broke up with her for me." And he's like, "I did. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about." And it's so clear that Stu is lying. So it makes sense for revenge sake. Like, oh, like if we're gonna kill someone, let's kill Casey. Like, I have like a vendetta against her because she broke up with me. But also, Billy was dating Sydney and knows Sydney's class schedule and probably knows that Casey sat right next to Sydney in class. So if someone would have a direct view of the effect of this murder, it'd be Sydney in school the next day. And there's the shot of her looking at Casey's empty chair. It's so, like, the little details like that are so effective, and they just make you, like, you talk about it, and just like talking about it with you makes me just want to go back and watch it again. Like,
I can't imagine the writing process for this whole thing. Like, it must have been so much to like tie together and keep it so interesting, you know.
It's one of the best scripts in horror, in my opinion. Like, no, it doesn't have like super deep themes, and it's not like as like deep as like Hereditary or some like 70s French horror film, but it has an excellent commentary on violence in horror movies, an excellent commentary. It's also, like we said, it's kind of a feminist film. Like, it very much.
I would say so.
Sydney is an iconic
probably.
female character in the horror genre. To me, she is the ultimate scream queen, not just because she's in the Scream movies, but she is everything that I want in a badass female character in a horror film. Like, we've sung her praise.
Quick, strong. Like, she's kind of a fucking rock star.
She's a fucking rock star. That is a great definition. She is a fucking rock star. I like I mentioned earlier, I think everything falls into place with this movie. I didn't really get into it, but apparently originally Dewey was going to be some like young buff hunk, and so going with like David Arquette and writing him as a more goofy, naive character, it makes the character much more memorable. We talked about Matt Lillard's quotes, but if you're gonna have a character who's like second in terms of quotes in this movie, I think it's got to go to Dewey, because some of the shit he says, like he like, I mentioned it briefly earlier, but he kind of gets bullied by Tatum like a lot in public in front of his like colleagues, and the one time he's like, "Hey, what did Mom say? When I wear this badge, you treat me like a man of the law."
Does he say it with that accent? I forget.
He has like a little bit of southern twang when he delivers that line. Like, I don't know if it's because of the emphasis that he puts on like, treat me like a man of the law.
I totally believe that he did say it like that, because that's the kind of character that he is.
Yeah, we mentioned the ice cream scene too. It's like,
he's got like, you mentioned like a Clint Eastwood like thing. He definitely has that kind of look where he's like looking off in the distance, trying to like pretend like he's like a fancy cop or whatever. But it's so funny. It's so sweet. And like I did actually really like the one time that he was like flirting with Gail.
He's got some game.
Because you see like, oh man, the line, what she had said like, "Oh, I'm really popular with people at ages."
It was like
18 to 24.
18 to 24. Yeah.
And then he is like, "Oh, I'm 25," and she was like, "Oh, I just missed you," or whatever.
Yeah.
And then so she went, "Oh, like whatever," and they like kept talking, whatever. And then he mentioned something about the show or something like that as he was leaving. And he was like, "Oh, so you do watch?" And he was like, "I was 24 for a whole year." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Damn." Like that,
He spits some game.
damn. Yeah, like that was
He
some
invites her.
some charismatic shit, but like also
Yeah.
was just like super sweet. Like
He
seems
is a
like
very
such a nice guy.
he's a very earnest guy. Like we make fun of him a
Absolutely.
little bit, but he's very earnest. He's good in nature. But also I think
It's-
a
yeah,
good
there's
good
so
red
many
herring.
characters there's so many things to like about like a lot of these characters. Like
They're
even
all
for
memorable.
like Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, even for like Billy, it's like he's not like he's not really subtle in his insanity,
No.
and he's not a good person,
Yeah.
but he's so interesting to watch. It's like it's not.
Dude, the
or
way he
I think he's pretty interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, the way he
I'd
snaps
say.
at Randy in the fucking video store.
Yeah. Oh man.
And
That
immediately
was a fun
after
scene.
he walks away, Randy's like, "See, that doesn't look like a killer to you." He says like, "What, you tell me that's not a serial killer?"
Yeah.
And it's so obvious, dude. Literally, and like again, like the first time we see Stu, he describes how he killed the two people the night before.
Yeah,
And
man.
he even says he completely rules out that it could be a female. He's like takes a man to do something like that. And then oh my god, his joke when he's like, "Yeah, man, live her alone." Liver, get it?
My God. Yeah, no, they could not have been more obvious, but it was still so much fun. Such a fun ride. I think I pretty much have everything out there
Yeah.
for this movie. What about you?
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I think we've kind of covered all the elements. Well shot, great direction,
Yeah, man.
great performances across the board. All of the stuff kind of fell into place. Maybe a couple cringy romantic scenes between Sid and Billy. Just one of my like favorite, most iconic performances in Matt Lillard as Stu Macher. I love the characters. I love the music. I love and you're gonna grow to love this song too. But the Red Right Hand song in the movie, the one that like it's the one. It's also the Peaky Blinders song. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's like it sounds like a country song. It's like the boom, 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 and then he's like he's called it is Red Right Hand. They play it like 3 times in this movie. It's
fuck.
Oh,
I should remember
okay.
it then. I don't know.
Hold on. We're not gonna get demonetized.
Are you sure? I'm not gonna. All right, let me
Hold
let
on.
me listen
No,
to
no.
it. Let
Hold
me
on.
pull
No, I got you. You're gonna hear it. Here, hold on, and the people can hear it too. Cause this is, dude. Here, hold on. Red Right Hand. It's this song. It like plays when they first show like Woodsboro High, when they're first getting to Woodsboro High, like when she arrives at high school.
Then I'll have to.
It's also in the second movie and the third movie and the fourth movie and the fifth movie and the sixth movie.
Listening to it,
It'll be ingrained in your brain by the end of the series. But yeah, I love Scream. My second favorite horror film. Shall we get into scores and then yeah. All right. So I think it's pretty obvious for me. I'm gonna give Scream a 10 out of 10. Shout out to my friend Josh, who, with any luck, we will be bringing him back onto our Scream 3 episode.
That'd be cool.
But Josh disagrees with me on this. He doesn't think Scream is a perfect movie.
Oh, wow.
And we argued about it the other day, and I know he's not going to like it, but I'm giving Scream a 10 out of 10. I think it's a perfect movie. I think there's different kinds of perfect movies, and maybe that's a stupid thing to say. Maybe that's not the right thing to say. But I think there's a difference between a movie that's like a pure out of 10 because it's like flawless and perfect. And then I think there's a movie that's a 10 out of 10 like Scream that nothing it does takes me out of the experience, and I think that it achieves everything that it sets out to. I think it tries to be funny, and it's funny. I think it tries to be scary, it's scary. It tries to be suspenseful, and it tries to pay homage and be a love letter to horror films while also poke fun and parody them. I think it does that really well too. So, in my book, it is a 10 out of 10.
Okay, you said 10 out of 10. Your friend said no. I think out of the two of you, I'd have to agree with you, Jake.
Yeah.
You already know.
You know what
I'm giving Scream 1 10 Shaggies out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love this movie. This movie was really good. I don't know if I tricked anybody there. I hope I did because well, I don't know. But we had already talked earlier, me and Jake, because there was no like real getting around it.
Yeah. I knew this was going to be a 10.
I gushed about this movie the entire time. I don't think there was a single time where I said anything negative about this movie. Go listen to it again and see if I did.
Yeah. Fact check us, mother effers.
But no, this movie was really, really good. I loved its like self-awareness, its discussion within the movie. I loved the goriness, the spookiness.
Yep.
The tongue-in-cheek, the like funny aspects of it. Matthew Lillard. It was just fantastic. It was a really great film. I feel like, and in terms of like rewatchability, I think this has perfect rewatchability. I could watch this any day. Like you were saying, like I feel like with something like Halloween, and not to like compare it to Halloween really, but it's a wonderful movie. I just feel like for something like that, I would rewatch on Halloween and not just anytime.
No, I feel you. I only watch Halloween on Halloween, so.
Yeah, man. For Scream, I could watch this any day.
No,
this was a 10 out of 10 film.
Scream is a very good summer movie. I know we watched it for March, but Scream is a very good like June, July, like a nice 68, 72 degree weather day. The windows are open. You don't quite have the air conditioner on. You just have the window open. The breeze is coming in, and throwing this movie on. I will say when before we wrap this up, when I watched this movie, I was home alone, and after the opening scene, I was so I was scared. So I went and I got up and I made sure all my doors were locked.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, I know this is precautious, but I don't want to fuck around. I don't want to be that idiot who's watching a horror movie about a slasher and then gets killed. So
you know how it is when you're home alone. When you're home alone, it's like fucking anything can happen, man.
Exactly.
Like when you're like 13. When were you home alone for the first time?
Probably 12, 13-ish. I'd have to guess.
I think I'd probably be around the same range.
Yeah, I feel like that's when most kids are like, it's like, all right, you're not going to burn the house down and you're not going to like kill yourself with a knife by accident or chop a finger off. You're good.
Right.
Like,
you're not going to fuck with the stove. Like, I'm not going to worry about it too much.
You can't. My nephew's only like a year and a half. You cannot leave him home alone. Fun fact.
I just can't imagine myself that. Oh man, I just can't. Sorry, it's a shame.
I know. Yeah, he tries to stick his hands in like every outlet. You just can't leave him.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta watch the little. You gotta watch the little guys.
For sure, man. But yeah, no, I remember being like that age and like being left home alone for the first like few times or whatever, and like
it's kind of scary.
You'd think the worst. You'd think if you're like my parents weren't home at the exact time that I remember them saying that they were going to be home, and I'm like, oh fuck, oh my god.
Where are they?
It turns out they like picked up some groceries or whatever.
You hear a single bump and you hear a single noise and you're like, oh, what the fuck's that? Am I gonna die? Is that an intruder?
In the closet.
Well, that's what I didn't mention either, but I think the opening scene of this movie it plays on one of my very real fears of big houses with multiple entrances. Like when he's like, guess which door I'm at, the front or the back. Even if there's not two of them, I'm still scared because he's at one of them and I don't want to go to that door. It's So scary.
We're sorry. We're sorry for tricking you guys into thinking that we were done talking.
No, we are done. That's
but,
all right. That's it for me.
but-
That's it for me. I could talk about this movie for like
No,
3
I was
hours.
gonna say, go fuck yourself. We can do whatever we want, but
Yeah,
sure, yeah,
Scared
no,
Speechless.
we can cap it off.
unless you do have anything else for this
I
one.
am scared speechless.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good.
Scared speechless. We're gonna break in and beat you up.
Yeah.
No, we're lovers, not fighters. We're
I
not
thought you were gonna
we're
say
not
something
Sidney
like-
Prescott's. We're not.
Sound like a jingle. Or-
I would
All right,
not.
yeah.
If I was a killer, I would not attack Sydney because I was like, she'll fuck me up. She'll be my.
I'd be scared.
She's
man.
like kicking people and shit. Like and she definitely took karate as a kid. 100.
she'll whoop your
100%.
ass.
But yeah, guys, I don't know if I said it, but that's our first combined 10 out of 10 on Scared
Yeah.
Speechless. So Scream has become our highest rated episode. Don't even need to do
Hooray.
quick
Sound
math.
effect here.
Yeah. Because I think the only other 10 I've given is Halloween. Aaron gave that a high or a low 9, I think. Aaron has given Trick or Treat a 10. I give that like an 8. And then recently Aaron gave Wreck a 10, and I give that a low 9. So go check out all those episodes
Yeah.
if you guys want to hear discussions about some of our combined favorites. But yeah, this is Scream 1. I'm so happy that this movie, again, is my second favorite horror film. I watch this movie like 3 times a year. It's great, endlessly rewatchable. You pick up on new stuff every time. Like, I'm excited to watch it again in the future and just see what I noticed this time and how much joy I get. Like, I don't know. I love it. I get locked in every time. Great experience.
It's a good fucking time. I'm so glad that I watched this for the first time for the show.
And I'm
because I don't know
yeah.
when I would have watched this otherwise.
I'm
like,
glad
by myself.
to scratch that off your watch list, and I'm excited to scratch off Screams 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and
Fuck yeah, I'm so down for it.
hopefully 7 if that ever gets made.
Who's to say?
Who is to say? All right, guys. Well, obviously, we will be moving on to Scream 2 on next week's episode. Scream 2, 1997, also directed by Wes Craven, starring Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and Jamie Kennedy, who we didn't mention, but is also the star of Son of the Mask. So that's fun. I think that
You
movie
did tell me that.
I think that movie has like a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
That's so funny. I think
But
I
either
remember
way-
watching that when I was a kid.
It's
Weird.
not good.
Anyways,
Yeah, guys, that's it for today. Scream 2 is our next episode, so make sure to check that out if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you haven't seen it in a while, maybe you want to revisit it. Yeah, so definitely check that out. As always, guys, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. You can find us over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and people seem to enjoy us on YouTube, so check us out, subscribe to us over there. Also, make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We really appreciate it, guys. On YouTube, if you do like this episode, interact with it, leave a comment, let us know what you think about Scream, some of your memories and histories with the franchise. Maybe you check it out because you don't want to be spoiled. Let us know. Interact with us. Make sure to click the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find us on Facebook at Scared Speechless, over on Instagram at Scared Speechless. We're on both of those social media platforms. In terms of personal plugs, you can find me over on my personal YouTube channel at Former Film Student on YouTube. I post a lot of TV and movie related content. Been putting in the hours recently. Recently did a video on Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix live action one, and I also saw Madame Web. So if you want to hear my thoughts on those movies, check out those videos. They seem to be kind of popular. People are liking them. So yeah,
Madame Web.
Madame Web.
Madame Web.
Yeah, also follow me on my personal Instagram at Booze Jacob, spelled BOOSJACOB, and that is it for me.
And I have an Instagram at Fixatic. That's VIXATIC. Don't worry about what it means. I post some personal stuff. Gonna be experimenting with some perhaps film / TV related things.
Hell yeah.
So maybe keep an eye out for that. It might show up on my Instagram, or I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah. Put us on when you're about to watch your favorite scary movie.
Let us know. What is
Let us
your
know.
favorite scary movie?
Scary movie.
Do it or I'm gonna gut you like a fish, bitch. Great line. We didn't even talk about Ghostface lines, but you know what? We have like 4 or 5 more Scream episodes where we can talk about the lines and shit. But anyway, guys, thanks as always for watching us, listening to us. I guess you don't really watch us. In the future, we do want to be able to show our faces.
Watch because I don't give a fuck.
But in the future, we'd like to show our faces. But until that can be set up and arranged and consistent, then you just have to listen to our voices for now. But with that being said, guys, again, last time, Scream 2, next episode. So check it out. New episodes every Monday. Stay tuned for more episodes of Scared Speechless. And goodbye.
Bye.